Hello and Happy New Year. Welcome back to another card making video. Today I will be creating a card for the January 2024 Monthly Mix Challenge by Gina K Designs. This month's challenge is called All You Need Is Love. If you haven't already done so, I would love it if you could please like and subscribe to my channel, and to all my existing subscribers, thank you so much for continuing to support my channel. I really appreciate it. So let's go ahead and get started. Alrighty, the first thing that we're going to do is stamp our butterfly images. Now I've already placed my butterflies in my MISTI, and I did not remove them. I kept them in place because I knew I was going to go ahead and recreate this card for you guys today. And it wasn't anything crazy or any technique that you guys need to see in person. It's really just figuring out the layout of your butterflies and how you want them to be displayed on your card panel. Today's stamp set is called Beautiful Butterflies 3, and this stamp set does come with a coordinating die set sold separately. We won't be using them today, but I did want to show you what they look like. And the reason I wanted to show you is because this die set does come with 2 magnetic boards. So the nice thing about Gina's dies is they already come pre-cut. They come in a little baggie, and you take them out of the baggie and place them on the boards. And this die set is huge, which is why it comes with 2. Normally she only comes with 1 magnetic board, but again, because this die set is so big, you do get 2. So again, we're not going to use them today, but I did want to show you what they look like. I just keep them together in a stamp pocket. And we are going to get started. So I will warn you, using pinks and reds will stain your stamp, and that's okay. Just because they're stained doesn't mean that they're not going to work. It just means that they're well loved. And it also means you're using a good quality dye ink too, when you get a little bit of staining. So I'm using my MISTI. My MISTI does have a mouse pad in it, and I also have my sticky mat inside of here, which is going to help hold my cardstock in place because I'm not going to butt my cardstock up into the corner. So you're going to remove the cover sheet, which helps protect the mouse pad. I mean, not the mouse pad, the sticky mat, because again, it's sticky. And then the only hard part for me, because I've already placed my butterflies, is trying to figure out where I lined up my cardstock. So normally what I would do is I would put in my card panel. I'm pretty sure it was right here. And then I would pull my stamps off of my carrier sheet, and then I would place them on my card. I'm pretty sure, I think that's where I had, it is. Oh, perfect. Colors that I will be using today are Plum Punch, Passionate Pink, and Innocent Pink. And another thing that you're going to need are blending brushes. If you have the little ones, I would use the little ones, but if you don't, you could use the normal size blending brushes as well. But I found the little ones to be a little bit easier. Another thing you're going to need is a stamp chamois. This one is very well loved and it needs to be replaced, but I can't seem to part with it just quite yet. And mine is not wet, so I'm gonna go ahead and wet my stamp chamois. So I will be right back. It's funny, I totally stocked up on these chamois during Gina's sale. I think I have like 3 of them, but again, I keep reaching my OG one. But she needs to be replaced. I just can't seem to part with it. feel rusty. I took 3 weeks off, you guys, and it's been hard trying to get back into the groove of things. I'm not gonna lie. So, okay, let's get started. A tip. If your stamps are new, you want to condition them. And the best way to condition them is to rub them. You know that your stamps are conditioned because they'll be shiny. And when you rub your fingers over them, they get cloudy. And when they get cloudy, you know that they're ready to go. I'm going to start with Plum Punch. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to stamp the center of my butterflies because that is where I want the darkest color. So I'm going to lay down my ink. Using an ink cube is going to be really easy for this because some of our butterflies are small, and the ink cube is going to allow us to get into those small spaces. So like this butterfly over here, I'm not going to ink the whole thing. I'm just going to ink the middle. And I got some right here. This is where your stamp chamois is going to come in handy because we don't want the purple there. Okay, so I'm going to stamp all of the centers. Okay, and I feel like my light is super bright, so I'm having a hard time seeing. Oh, that helps me. Sorry if that's too dark for you guys, but that light on makes it really hard for me to see what I'm doing because there's too much glare. So, okay. Here is where your blender brushes are going to come in handy. If you were to stamp right now, and I don't know if you'll be able to see, I'm not going to stamp, but just so you can see, if I were to stamp this, I would have really harsh lines from my ink cube. And I don't want that. I want my colors to have a smooth transition going from darkest to lightest. So in order to have those harsh lines go away and will blend nicely into our passionate pink, that is where our blending brushes are going to come in handy. Whoops, I'm using the purple. And so what I will do is I will also have a paper towel to kind of wipe my brush off of that extra ink. So I'm going to take my brush and I'm just going to dab the edges, and it's kind of like feathering the edges. And I'm going to do that for all my butterflies. Sometimes if I feel like there's too much of that purple ink over the butterfly, that's where my stamp chamois is going to come in handy. And I'm just going to gently wipe the areas that I feel like there's too much of that purple ink, especially on my smaller butterflies. So I'll just kind of wipe this on the outside. I'm not going to wipe where I have feathered that ink because again, that's what's going to allow us to blend into the other colors. I'm only doing that outside, and I'm sorry if that squeaky noise is really loud for you guys. I apologize, but there we go. Okay, I think we're good. So now I'm gonna go ahead and stamp my butterflies. I think I might have feathered too much on this one and not enough on this side, but that's okay. So you can use your fingers to press down, or if you have a stamping tool, you can just run your stamping tool over your butterfly. Oh, that is really sticky. Okay, so it's not going to look the best right now, but keep going. Don't stop. Don't look at this and go, oh, I messed up, or this looks terrible. I'm going to scratch it and start over again. No, this is fine. It's okay. And if you didn't get the best stamped images, this is where, like this one, or if I want to kind of fix this butterfly a little bit and make this one darker, this is where the Misty is going to come in super handy, and we'll just go over it again. There we go. Okay. And you're just going to repeat the process. All right, and then use your blending brush to smooth those edges. Tap, 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 tap. This one, I need to make sure there's nothing in this corner. I did this a couple of times where my ink cube touched this corner. So, and another thing you can do is kind of look before you stamp down. Like this one, I don't know that I got enough ink on that one. So let me just ink that up really quick and get it all over my fingers. All right, feather that out. And then we will go ahead and stamp. All right. My stamping tool and give that a good press. All right, let's see. Ooh, better. Okay, I can work with that. Yeah, that'll do. So now you can go in again if you feel like you wanted to add more, but I like the way that it looks. So I'm going to take my chamois and I'm going to, ooh, that's an awful sound. Wipe off the purple. Okay, we're going to come in with our Passionate Pink. And so we're not going to stamp the center because that's where we had our plum punch. We're going to stamp in, I guess, the center of the center of the center and the edge. I don't even know what to call that. But let's see. For these little ones, I kind of just do like a little horseshoe. Okay, horseshoe motion. Oop. Okay, so again, we're going to take our blending brush and we're going to smooth out those lines. Smooth out those lines. I definitely got too much on the outside of this, so I'm just gonna go like that. Then I'm gonna smooth this out. Smooth this out. And I'm kind of pouncing the brush because, again, that's what's kind of going to give us that smoother line. If you were to swipe the brush, that really removes the ink. And so my goal isn't to necessarily remove the ink, but to just make sure there isn't any harsh lines, harsh transition lines between the colors. It doesn't need to be perfect, so give yourself grace. If you don't like the way that it looks, don't stop. Just keep going until it's completely done, and then you could determine if you want to start over or not, but more than likely you won't need to. So we're going to press, press, press. Okay, I keep putting that there, but then it's in the way, so I don't know why I keep doing that. Alrighty, look, How pretty. We're getting there. So we're going to do that process one more time. Stamp. Okay. Okay, let's see. Ooh, there you go. And I also kind of reference while I'm stamping where I need to either not go as far, or maybe something's a little bit too light, so I want to concentrate more in that area because I might have gotten skipped. But like I said, this technique is a little forgiving because it doesn't need to be perfect, which is kind of nice. Okay. Then we're going to smooth out those transition lines. There we go. All right. Okay. And we're going to stamp. Well, I hope everybody had a wonderful holiday. I can't believe we're already into the new year. That was the fastest holiday, I swear. They just get faster. They just keep getting faster and faster. Oh, look at that. How pretty. Those butterflies are so pretty. Okay, so I like the way that looks. I am going to, I think I squeezed way too much water out of this because now it's already dry. I hope everybody is staying warm. It has been super rainy here in California. And I think at the time of this filming, a lot of my East Coast friends and family are getting hit with some snow. So I hope y'all are staying nice and warm. Okay, so now we're gonna go ahead and stamp with our last color, which is Innocent Pink. And for Innocent Pink, I'm gonna stamp everywhere. You don't have to, but it's kind of nice because if you have any spots that were like mist or light, this color is really going to fill in those gaps. And it's a light color, so it's all right if you stamp over the darker color. Obviously, you don't want to do a darker color over a lighter color. That would not be great. Okay. Oh, you could, but it'd be one color. All right. So I'll take our stamping tool and really press down. And then I'll take a look. Look at how pretty. Oh my goodness. So, so pretty. Can I bring that up? Look at that. Isn't that gorgeous? Oh, I love it. So pretty. Okay, so this is also where the Misty is going to come in handy because I want to really bring out this color. So, I mean, honestly, I don't know. Let me see if I could turn the light back on. It was really hard to craft with that light on, but I think it's going to be easier for you guys to see. Nope. I don't think you guys want to see my hair. All right, so this is what it's going to look like if you don't put any clear embossing powder on top of it. Now, keep in mind, while dye inks do dry quickly, this is still technically wet. Like, I can put my hand over it and it's not going to smear, but if I were to heat emboss over this, it would still technically be wet and that embossing powder would stick to it. So this color will dry back. And when it dries back, it lightens a little bit. And that's okay. That's a great look too. You don't need to do the next step. But again, I liked the texture, and I also liked how vibrant it kept the ink color. I don't know if you can see. There we go. See that? So I'm going to do that again. Okay, I'm going to move this out of the way. And because we used our Misty, again, it keeps the stamps in the exact same place. So this is a part that becomes a little bit tricky because we're heat embossing. So in order to heat emboss, we need to prep our cardstock. In order to prep our cardstock, we need to use an anti-static powder tool. And the only reason why I say it's tricky is because I have my card on a sticky mat. Well, obviously, if I get powder on my sticky mat, it's not going to be sticky. Not the end of the world if you do, because, and I've done this, if your sticky mat tends to lose stick, you can run it, oh my goodness, sorry. You can run it under warm water and you can feel whether it's dust or powder, kind of wipe off the sticky mat, and that kind of rejuvenates it. Eventually you'll need to replace your sticky mats. They are not going to be sticky forever, but it gives you kind of that longevity if you rinse them off. So again, I'm going to use my Tailored Expressions powder tool. I love this tool. It's my favorite. I did get a little bit of ink on it, but that's okay because it's not going to transfer onto my project. But don't worry, it's white. It's not going to stay white forever. But anyways, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put some powder in the center, and then I'm going to kind of push it out towards the edges. And this is what's going to help me kind of coat everything without getting so much powder on my sticky mat. All right. I am going to be using my Versamark This Versamark pad is definitely well loved. So I usually have two Versamark ink pads. One is really dirty and mucky muck. Like, that's gross. And it's finally getting to the point where I'll either need to re-ink it or throw it away. And honestly, I'm probably gonna just throw it away. Now, I use this for stamps that are already well loved, or maybe I didn't wipe them off completely. And the reason I do that is because this is sticky ink, that whatever's on my stamp is going to transfer onto my pad. And that's okay. That's why I have one nasty one. However, sometimes my stamps are nice and clean and they're beautiful and I don't have to worry about that. So I have a cleaner ink pad. But like I said, because this ink pad is at pretty much end of life, I mean, there's still some in there, but because I'm video recording, I don't want to have to constantly keep restamping over and over. So I'm just going to use my nicer ink pad because it's super juicy. You could use any clear sticky ink. It doesn't have to be Versamark ink. Simon Says Stamp has one. Gina K Designs has one. And I have those. They're brand new, and I have these open, so I'm going to get through these before, oh, look, see how some of that pink, oh, you can't tell in the video, but some of that pink ink transferred, and that's okay. But I'm not going to open those until these are completely done. So we're going to go ahead and stamp our butterflies onto our panel. And that looks really good, but I think I'm going to stamp one more time. Okay. All right. I've moved my stamping tool so much, I don't know where I put it now. Oh, it's over here. Okay. I swear I have a big desk, but to be honest, it's not big enough. I don't think there's such a thing as the best desk or the biggest desk. It's never going to be big enough. All right. That looks good. It's good for what I need it. All right, so I do tape my sticky mats down, but the easiest and best way to remove your cardstock, especially if your sticky mat is brand new, is to actually bend the sticky mat away from the cardstock. That way you don't accidentally tear it or warp it. See how it gets a little crinkly, but it's okay because it will smooth out. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about a thing. Okay. All right. So I'm going to put my carrier sheet back into place. And you know, these are probably super sticky. Normally I just close it and then worry about it later, but I'll give those a little bit of a wipe down. All right. So now I'm going to get out my piece of paper. I'm going to get out my clear powder. And I'm going to sprinkle this all over my panel. Okay. If you get powder in places you don't want, I just take a dry paintbrush, and I'll just wipe off that extra powder. I think my powder has seen better days. I think I'm gonna butterfly. All right, and then I just want to make sure I have coverage everywhere. Sometimes I blow on my panels too. That seems to get a lot of the excess powder off. All right, good enough. It's clear. I'm not too worried if there's a couple of strands somewhere. I'm gonna funnel that back into my little container. I have a bunch of Swiffer cloths that I just use that are well loved to wipe off any extra powder. I'm going to preheat it for a little bit so that way it's nice and hot. And look at how those butterflies just really came alive on our panel. Makes such a big difference. So I think it's time to retire that embossing powder. It doesn't emboss like it used to. I heard someone once say that embossing powder can get old, but I'm like, it's powder. How can it get old? But I think they're right. I've had it for a long time, and anyway, I want to overheat my embossing powder, so this is fine. Anyways, I think it's just time to throw that embossing powder away. Which is fine because I stocked up on Gina's embossing powder. Okay, so let's see. Now what we need to do is, let's go ahead and use our Master Layouts 2 die set and trim our panel, cut out our panel. Here we go. Okay, so here's my Master Layouts 2. I like Master Layouts 2 because Master Layouts 2 has a stitching border. So I'm just going to line this up. Probably right about right about here. Do I like that? I think right here. Yeah, I like that. Okay, so I'm going to use low tack tape to temporarily adhere that down so my die doesn't shift. And I need to find my cutting plates. All right. So while that's die cutting, I also should die cut our layering panel, which is Passionate Pink. And that is from Gina K Designs. Again, all the products are from Gina K Designs because it's I will be entering this into her monthly mix challenge. So I'm going to take is that 2? Her cardstock's thick. Okay. Take the layering panel, line that up. Move that out of the way. All right. Here's our layering panel. And let's go ahead, since we have the die cutting machine out, let's go ahead and cut our hello. So the shadow layer I cut out of vellum. And the hello word is cut out of Plum Punch cardstock. Plum Punch. Okay, where's the die? Here we go. And this is just from my scrap bin. And I'm going to reuse my low tack tape, by the way. It's still sticky and works great, so there we go. Oh my goodness, so much for, I knew I should have taped the other side down and I didn't, so I missed. I completely missed and it shifted. Something told me to tape that down, so it's because I am recording that this happened. So give me just a second. I gotta find another piece of Plum Punch paper. Now, because I missed, and that's okay, I'm not gonna throw this away because I still have a lot more real estate, and I'm actually going to use that real estate to stamp my love sentiment. But I do need, this piece isn't big enough to stamp, I mean to die cut the hello, so I gotta find another piece, another scrap piece, which, let's see. Sweet. Look, I have 2 and I need 2, so that's good. Okay, let's try this again. But this time, Jillian, let's learn our lesson. And let's tape it down like this. As you should have. But you didn't. All right. And I also, for some dimension, I don't know if you can see it, but I die cut love my electronic machine, but holy cow, is it loud. Okay. So I don't know if you could tell, but I die cut the hello 2 additional times out of white cardstock, so that way I can stack them together to create a little bit of dimension. So I will go ahead and do that. A lot of times I will shop my scrap bin before I cut another piece of paper. Okay. This gets so dirty. All right. Let's cut it again. My plates are so warped. I hope this cut out. Okay. All right. So now that I have a hot mess everywhere, you guys can't see it, but I can see it. Let's go ahead and stamp our little greeting. And where did this little greeting comes from the A Little Hello bundle that I don't know that this bundle is still available, but I believe maybe because it was a kit bundle, I believe you can still get the individual items in her shop. But all of the products I use will be listed in the description box below. So if it's not listed, I could not find it. But I will try my best. All right, here's that tiny little sentiment. Again, I'm gonna just reuse this paper because I messed up. And just because I'm cutting this little piece, I will recycle this. I'm going to use this, and this is going to go in my scrap bin because, again, prime real estate, prime real estate. Alrighty. I'm going to bring out my Misty. How cute is this little Misty? I love the teal. I say how cute like it's something new. This has been out forever, but new to me. It was part of my Black Friday purchase when I should be shopping for all my Christmas gifts, but sometimes I need something for myself. So I'm gonna prep because I'm gonna heat emboss. Oop, get that in there. Line up my little stamp. My love. It's so, ooh, so cute. Oh my goodness, it's sticking to my fingers. Stop it. Okay. Boop. It doesn't need to be perfect, or it doesn't need to line up straight, because I'm actually going to be cutting this out using Gina's sentiment strips. So this word is very dainty and small, and I don't want to distort when I stamp down. So I'm actually going to lightly press and pretty much just have the gravity of the door stamp it down. If I push it, it's going to kind of distort the letters. So that looks really good, but let's do it one more time. Gentle, gentle. Oh, I miss my boy. It's been it's been a year and 1 month since since we lost our boy, and I meant boy as in our dog. His name was Godzilla. He was an Italian Mastiff, and he lived 11 years and 3 months. But man, do I miss his stinky bottom. That was our boy. But one of the things we used to say when we gave him a treat is gentle. So that just reminds me of him. He lived a long life. Ooh, that's clear. I want white. For a big dog. An Italian Mastiff. 11 years and 3 months. It's a good run, but man, do I miss that little turkey. Okay, my love. All right, perfect. Okay. There we go. Okay. So I'm gonna let that cool for a second, and then I'm just gonna take my microfiber cloth, kind of wipe it down a little. Kind of getting off that extra powder. So her sentiment strip does not have one that is this teeny tiny, but that's okay. Gina K Designs sentiment strips. So this is the smallest one, and you'll notice it doesn't, like, it fits, but there's too much extra on the sides. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to line up one end, right? I think that looks good. There's kind of a shadow, so hold on. It's hard to see for me. Okay, and I'm going to tape it down. Is that straight? Yeah. Learn my lesson and tape it down. Ooh, okay. And I'm going to bring out my sidekick, who also is storing my 3D foam tape that I cut too much. Where are my cutting plates? Because I am a hot mess today. But you're probably thinking, how is that different than any other day? Touche, my friend. Touche. Oh, they're in a drawer that they shouldn't be in. Oh. I just threw my sentiment across the room. Oh my goodness. Okay, so let's run this through. And what I'm gonna do, you guys, I know this is crazy, but I'm gonna save this. It's going in my scrap bin. Okay, I save everything. So now we have some extra that we need to cut off. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna line up the other side, and it fits like a puzzle piece into the grooves. Oh, can you see? Yeah, into the grooves. So it slides right into place. But then I'm able to line up the other end and trim this off. I'm going to tape it down. And the reason I'm going to do this, I mean, I could put this in a paper trimmer, but if you notice, the die cut leaves kind of a beveled edge. So I would have a beveled edge on one side and then a straight line on the other if I used my trimmer to cut that off. Which isn't the end of the world, but I could also just line this up and run it through my little sidekick, and it'll be the same on both sides. Whoops. And then look, ta-da! Can you see? There we go. Perfect. And that is the trick if your sentiment strips dies are bigger than your actual sentiment. That's how you fix that problem. Put that in there. Put that away. Okay. So, let me look. Where are we? We have stamped, heat embossed, die cut. Ooh, we need to stamp our, what are those called? Not antlers. You guys, I can't think of the name of the antennae? Antenna. Oh my goodness. Anyway, we need to stamp those antlers. Those are reindeers, Jillian. Okay. Here we go. Here is our embossed image. This is our layering panel. It fits like a glove. I guess I could just glue this together. Why not? I am all over the place. Just go in any order you feel comfortable or makes sense to you. Oh! You guys. Oh my goodness. Why did I put it on that way? That's all right. We're gonna bring in our, the Plum punch is cut to 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. So this is an A2 panel. This wasn't the direction I was going, but I put the glue on the wrong side. Like a professional that I am. Looks good. Okay. So now, let's try this again. Round 2. Fight. Now I'm going to glue it on upside down. I feel like that's crooked. Who knows? It might be, but that's okay. Handmade, not Hallmark. All right, looks good. I think what I did last time, and I forgot to do it this time, but it doesn't really matter which way you do it. We'll just throw it. Before I die cut the butterflies, I actually stamped the sentiments first and then I die cut, but that's okay. We can still accomplish the same thing. Although I just realized I made a mistake. It's not a mistake, but I just made it very hard on myself. You guys do that first because I shouldn't have glued my first panel onto my layering panel, because if you notice here, the love you gets cut off, which is probably why you should stamp these first and then cut. But that's okay. If this happens to you and you do the same thing I do, which hopefully you won't, because you'll watch this and go, Jillian, like, really? Silly girl. All right, this is how I'm going to fix that. I am going to take some Post-it tape. I'm going to cover that up, and hopefully that doesn't stick because some of the glue came out, but that's okay. This is how we're going to fix that. Ta-da! Fixed. Now I need to, where is it? I'm not going to use my Misty. I'm going to freehand stamp this. I don't even know if that's the correct terminology, but it sounds right to me. So there it is. Love you. Boop. And we're going to say miss you. And we're also going to say hello there. That is fitting because the other ones are, what does that say? A wish for you, which no, not gonna work. Have hope, that would work. Hugs. And get well. On your card, it's whatever you would like. Okay. Let me take this off because I'm already having a hard time. So I am going to use the color Stormy Sky. Let's see, can I? Love you. Okay. And I believe this one I stamped love you. Yep. Okay, so I'll put that back. And then now we're going to come in with the hello there. Hello. And I think I did this one. You could use your Misty, but I just find it easier to stamp this way. And now the miss you. Miss you. And I guess if this butterfly is flying, go it that way? Nah, I'll go like this. Nah. Good enough for me. Hopefully I don't think that the recipient's gonna be like, oh, that's not in the right placement. Okay. Post-it notes for the win. Perfect. Okie dokie. Now, let's try to stack our hellos together. And this is a very delicate die. To add glue to. So what I'm going to use is my Gina K Designs Connect liquid adhesive in a fine tip applicator bottle. Ooh, come on out. A lot of times I use layering weight when I'm building my card together. But because this word is so delicate, I actually used heavy duty cardstock, so it's not as flimsy. Kind of holds its shape better. Now, another trick you could do is leave the word into the negative and then add your glue, but because the word is so thin, I know I'm gonna get glue to ooze out, and it's just gonna be harder to punch this out. So I'm just gonna pop it out. And I don't know if I actually got a good cut on this one, to be honest. Oh, I think we're okay. Come on out. There we go. Ooh, it didn't cut perfectly, but that's okay because this will be at the bottom. It's cold. I'm gonna have to turn the heater on soon. My nose is starting to run. Ooh, come on out. All right. So we have our hello. It is all weeded out. I'm gonna save this because prime real estate. Prime real estate. Okay. You guys, I have low-tack tape sticking to my sweatshirt. Okay. Here we go. I like the fine tip applicator bottle because you can really control how much comes out of this fine tip. I would say probably majority of the time I miss altogether, but it's okay. The glue dries clear, goes on white, dries clear. Okay. Oop. Running out of space to hang on to it. Hey. No hugging, get off of there. Sorry, I'm so quiet. I'm like concentrating. I'll give you guys' ears a break. Ooh. Did I get it? That was not too terrible. So, let's get our plum punch. Whoops. Ooh. Careful. That tail did not cut all the way, so I'm gonna have to be very careful when I glue that down because it did rip just a little bit, but that's okay. Pretty sure we can salvage it. Not the end of the world. I can cut it out again, but this is already going to be a really long video, and I'm sure you guys have better things to do. Ooh. Come on out. So see how this kind of tore a little bit? The layer tore? That's okay. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take my little scissors and I'm gonna just cut that. Not the entire tail, I'm just gonna cut the layer that popped up. And the reason why I'm gonna do that is I'm not too worried about it because I'm gonna actually glue it down on my layering pieces and you're not even gonna tell. It just made that super, super delicate. So you just have to be careful when handling the rest of the word, which, you guys, honestly, it was probably just faster if I recut this. I really need to change out my plates, but I'm cheap and I want to use them until there's absolutely nothing left, which I think I'm at that point, Jillian, because now your die cuts aren't cutting all the way through. Oop, there we go. But I'm also determined to make this work. I think we have it. We do! Yay! I hit another little snag piece right here. There we go. I don't have to cut a piece, although probably should have cut a new piece. So let's put glue on this and then lay the die cut on top. I feel like that's the better move. Here we go. All right. Oh, let's get the, actually, because I need to make sure there's definitely glue here since I've already ripped that piece. Do you guys get super quiet when you're concentrating like this? Sometimes I'll like hold my breath. Gotta remind myself to breathe. It's okay. All right. Ooh, this little tail, I don't know if it's gonna work. I think so. She is just very wiggly. Come on. I think we're okay. I think that'll do. Are my little loops lined up? The nice part about liquid glue is you can still manipulate and kind of move them, push them over a little bit to make sure you're getting it right on top of that white. It might not be perfect, but it's going on top of vellum, so vellum. I'm gonna glue it to my vellum piece. Flip this over. And you don't want to put too much glue on the back side because you don't want it to ooze out from the vellum. Even though it dries clear, it will show on the vellum because the vellum is more of a matte finish, and when this dries clear, it'll dry shiny. So that's how you'll end up seeing it if it dries on the vellum and it's noticeable. Oop. And the O. Hello. That's cute. Okay. I wonder how many times I've said okay throughout this video. like when you're public speaking and they're like, you can't say you shouldn't say I'm gonna put a block on this, an acrylic block. Hold that down. Put you off to the side. All right. And let's bring our panel back in. We have that stamped. I should do splatter. I was thinking about doing splatter, but I don't know. I don't think so. This video is already long. So we're gonna glue our hello. Line that up. Probably right there. I think that looks good. All right. Hello. Perfect. Okay. And then I'm going to use some very thin foam squares to attach the My Love. I'm going to cut this in half. I really like these 3D foam squares because one, they're thin, and two, the release paper is super easy to come off. Not like my square ones, those are ridiculous. The ones by, I believe they're Thermoweb. It's like, in order to get those off, if you do, you get like an award. How do I want to do this? Then to give myself some wiggle room, I'm gonna put a little liquid adhesive. And I'm just gonna place that right in this white space underneath the word hello. And the liquid adhesive kind of gives me a little bit of wiggle room, and I'm just gently pushing this up because if I push too hard, it's just gonna go flying forward, and I don't want that to happen. But I think right there is perfect. Maybe a little bit more. Boop, boop, boop. Oop, too much. There we go. I could bring in my T-square ruler. I wasn't going to, but I'm on camera, so there we go. Looks great. Okay, and now it's time to embellish. And I am going to use the hearts from Gina K Designs. She has a rainbow pack and a black and white pack, but I was running out of containers, so I just combined them together. But that's why it looks so full. It's because there's two different bags of hearts in here, black and white, and then the rainbow. So I'm going to take out 2 dark pinks. And a light pink. Boop. And we are gonna put one here. Okay. How'd that work out? And we'll put one right here. And one down here. I liked that layout. But of course, you can do your layout whatever way you think is best on your card. Boop. Oops, that's all right. Get over there. There we go. cute did this turn out. Super cute. Not terribly difficult, super cute. And then we can just put this on a 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 inch note card. All right, let's do it. So this is, again, a top folding 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 inch A2 panel. And when I adhere a full-size panel like this to my card base, I turn it upside down and I apply my glue. And the reason I do this is just in case I didn't get the best cut, or the cuts don't line up, or one panel is bigger than the other, I can do my trimming on the bottom, because you obviously couldn't trim the top since that's where your fold is. So by placing both panels upside down and putting them together, I know that one, the top is lined up, so no white will be showing. And like I said, if I had any extra, I can cut it off at the bottom. So that is my tip for adhering a full panel to your card base. And there you have it. Here are our cards. And again, you can, you know, add spatter. You could change up the colors, but I thought these were great. And I hardly ever use Plum punch, so this was perfect. And I love the embellishment hearts. So that will complete today's card project. Thank you so much for watching and subscribing to my channel. I appreciate all of you. I hope you join in on the January 2024 monthly mix challenge from Gina K Designs. Thank you so much for stopping by, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.